each and everybody, and welcome to another very special episode of Smoke and Mirrors. This episode is brought to you by is brought to you by guests who can't listen for shit. Is also also brought to you by whatever you happen to have that might be warm and bringing you comfort in this particular time. And as we do every time, now here's a song. Fuck, I should have thought of a song before. No, I would rickroll you so hard if I could remember the song. If you don't know by now, I'll sound like Rick Roll singing a different song. All right, fuck it. I don't know. And now here they are, your invenerable host, Carlos Harim Wyndham. That's the Joshua. Joshua, come on. We've got guests here. I'm sorry, Boo Boo. I don't mean to yell. Can we get the right sound effect? Don't worry about it. We're gonna cut that. It's fine. Go back say it again. Okay. And now here they are, your invenerable host, Carlos Karim Wyndham. No idea what we're doing. Howdy ho, everybody. How you doing? Did not mean to. I did. Listen, I hope I didn't just get canceled. I think I just had a little bit of a Bill O'Reilly moment, screaming on Josh. Booba, you okay? Okay. Screaming on Joshua there about what was happening. I was shook. Because our upcoming guest, and the thing, if you were here for the opening, you know why I was. Listen, do you have a warm bevy? Huh? Replenish your fucks cup. Good shit. What? I didn't really. I knew I was having a talk today. We're having a talk today. It's going to be a good one. Didn't really plan on too much to share with you about what's happening around the backwoods this morning. Not a whole lot, honestly. Round the corner on being vaxxed up. The Dolly juice is settling nicely and is inspiring the question whether there is a vaccine for agoraphobia, because that is going to be my next challenge, as I've made this place very comfortable to be. Hey, this is Smoke and Mirrors. This is an experience, and if you like it, then great. Get with it. There's so many ways you can contribute. The first one is simply what you're doing right now, which is watching it. If you'd like, you could do me a favor. You could like and you subscribe, wherever it is. I know the word is subscribe. I know there's more syllables in it than that. I messed it up. Subscribe. Like and subscribe, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, whichever way. Hey, if you really absolutely love it and you want to throw 5 on it, that is a proverbial 5. It could be 1, it could be 2. You could do that at the Venmo at Carlos-Wyndham, Cash App, $CK Wyndham, PayPal, /me.CK Wyndham. And if you absolutely super duper love what we do, well, hey, invest in the things that you love, become a patron of the arts, and get with us at the Patreon, Smoke and Mirrors CCB. Patreon, Smoke and Mirrors CCB. Patrons, you have been waiting so patiently. We do appreciate it. We do have special treats that are in the works for you. We do have a Ridden Club that is going to be happening, where we're going to be ridding some things. We'll send you a book if you are a newly subscribing or a abuelito den grandparent, subscriber. Listen, too many words, too many languages going through my head all at the same time. Fuck you. Monolingual people, you don't know. Anyway, listen, become a patron. That's not nice. We're not talking nice. We're talking spicy today. I don't know what's going on. Hey, Wallace is a group that I'm in, and I am an MC in it, and you can listen to it. And you could do that all kinds of places. You could do that wherever you listen to music. And then once you've listened to it and you've heard the title track, And We Ride, and you hear how fucking sick we are, then what I would invite you to do is to go to Bandcamp and purchase it. Why would you do that? Even though you don't get a CD? Well, because you don't have a working CD player anyway. What are you going to do? Use it as a coffee coaster? Also, because that's how artists stay alive. We are coming back. I believe Aaron and I are even doing a show coming up in June. So do check that out. We will be back soon. I don't know what all that spice was. I was saying I was over the Dolly juice. I was over the Moderna, but evidently not. The only symptom that I had was that I got incredibly cranky for a day that has turned evidently into several days again. Sorry, Joshua. Sorry, patrons. I don't know why I was screaming at you. That's not how you get more fans. Make me famous! And also that I have become very, very good at bluegrass music. So I guess that there are two side effects so far. Hey, today on the show, oh, thank you, Renee. So you see the spice, you know what it is. You see it happening. I know. It's a lot. We're gonna tone it down. I am having a warm bevy. I got water too. We could put the fire down. Watch that. There we go. Today, oh, look at this. I've got my water buddy here with me. Y'all didn't see yet. I know secrets. You don't know secrets. We have guest talk before you're here. Sometimes there's secret stuff that happens. This guest I have today under the philosopher's tree is somebody who I have known since before either one of us started experiencing what it's like to have our hair completely gentrified by the whites. We've known each other a while. I've known them as a poet. I have known them as a producer of live events. I have known them as a contributor to the arts. I have known them as a spokesperson for culture, performance artist. I think I said playwright already, and I'm out of P words except for the last and most important one. So please welcome underneath the philosopher's tree, y'all, the one and only Paul Flores. Bring him on out here. Bring him on out. Pablo, what it do?
Carlitos.
How you feeling, my friend? How you feeling, friend?
I'm feeling good. Had a gummy before I came on just so I could join you.
Nice.
In the spirit of the show.
As we do sometimes. Thank you. Appreciate it. Not everybody gets that. I was here. Let's see. Who was I? I've been here with people from the Bay Area last couple of shows, but 2 shows ago was here with Aida Salazar. And Aida was unable to smoke for reasons about which we spoke and kept off air, but did join in some tequila. So it was nice. Wonderful. Yeah. No, it was good. It was good shit. It was good shit.
What's the name of her book? The Daughter of the Cranes, The Mother of the Cranes, The Land of the Cranes.
Land of the Cranes, right? And then there's something Moon, which I knew before and don't know right now because it's not in front of me. So I was talking to you, so I don't have it here on my desk the way that I did. Land of Cranes. Something Moon. My child loves the Moon book. It helped her contextualize her own menstruation, and I wish I could remember the name right now. I feel like such a God. I just won an award too. Did you see that? Another one. I love her. She's
amazing. I remember she used to come by La Peña.
Yeah,
she's coming up from L.A.
with regularity. Yeah. I first met her down in L.A. actually, many years ago now. What you been into, man? The Moon Within. Thank you. I was about to be like, "What you looking at over there? Don't watch the show. Look at. Let's just talk." But thank you. Good. Thank you. And of course, producer Tracy put it in the chat for you as well. So please do check that out. Never ever want to be disrespecting friends of the show when they're doing their things. Hey, when we checked in, you were coming back from Denver. What were you doing in my stomping grounds, B? What were you doing out in Denver?
In the box, in the box.
Mm.
Well, I don't know if you are familiar with Su Teatro, Centro Su Teatro,
Deeply.
the Chicano theater out there in Denver. I've been working with them since '03.
Yeah, that's
On
my home base family. Go ahead, keep going.
on one trip, working on a play in 2012, I met a really beautiful and wonderful woman out there. She was an actress, and we decided to have a baby somehow. The baby came. Things happened. The baby came. His name is
Decided.
Joaquin, and he's 8 years old. So he lives in Denver, man. So I was out visiting my son for his
Oh,
birthday.
beautiful.
Happy birthday, Joaquin! 8 years old.
Hey, felicidades! Right on.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's what I was
we
doing.
need more Denver raza. That's beautiful.
For sure, man.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm out there a
beautiful.
lot.
Cute. Oh, see, gorgeous. Next time we're out there at the same time, we're gonna have to link up if I'm not in the Bay first.
For sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Anytime. We got peoples out there in Colorado.
Nice.
We got the peoples in the Bay. We got the peoples in Portland. So
Covering
many
some
good
terrain.
folks.
Covering some terrain. So let's take it back.
A field of influence. A field of influence.
Uh, I hope at least a field of community that we're helping to connect with and help build, right?
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely, I think there have been times when we were younger artists, and certainly when we were collaborating, that idea of like having influence meant more to me. Um, has that changed for you? Do you still feel like the influence is the thing? One of the things that I mean, I know it matters deeply, right? I don't want to pretend like not having any influence, not having any platform makes sense. It's been less of a driver for me recently. Does that ring true for you? How do you feel about that?
I think maybe influence now is towards movement building, I think, rather than artistic career. You feel me? I'm not a
Mm,
careerist. I don't like career.
mm,
I didn't become an artist to have a career. So I think, the more communities I can connect to, um, the more possibilities exist in movement building, right? So if I'm working on immigration rights, I can work with communities in 30 states because of the amount of touring I've done. Or if I'm looking at trying to network folks around ending police violence, there's 20, 30 different organizations that I can connect to. So yeah, man, that's still important to me, but for a whole different reason, man. Like,
right,
in your 40s, it's kind of like, I want to make the life I have bigger than just me. So if that's what I mean by influence is by connecting with folks. That's what I'm talking about. I love that part about being an artist, just making friends, building with people. That's a beautiful thing.
yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what I think that's one of the reasons that the community of artists that we've both been privileged to be connected to. Uh, why so many of the artists who had been our elders, who had been our peers and contemporaries, uh, who had been our proteges, right, are now folks who are on the national scene, seen as influencers in many ways, because we really did come from a place of just, it was enjoyment, right? I mean, there was no money and shit that we were doing. That shit was fun.
That shit was hella fun.
That
That was
shit.
hella fun. I mean, you had to think about it, putting 250, 300 kids in a show and just, going wild. And
Mm.
I mean, it was fun, man. It is fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
I wish we could be back to doing that. It's been really hard. This
Ugh.
this pandemic that kind of disconnected me from the people who I had started working on projects with and places I would have visited. And I really miss, that was the whole reason I got into art.
Yeah.
I could have stuck writing books and been lonely, writer with my white editor. That was whack. So I stopped that shit. I was like, let's get out in front of people and let's make stuff with folks. And, that got cut out other than through the screen, so that is a big influence for me to keep working, is to be with people. That's a big thing, man. It is.
What's been the hardest part? Have you been coping?
I've been, like everybody else, just trying to get through each day, bro, without losing your brains.
Right.
I've done a couple different things. It might be like got on a workout routine for a little bit, dropped that one. Got into cooking, got into some cook. I mean, we're looking at what, 16 months of this thing. So I've been through cycles of different solutions to deal with it. Got into took on a ton of work. I mean, I'm teaching at the end of it right now. Like, I don't know, I got about 150 students a week. So poetry, theater. I took on as many gigs as I could through the teaching, just so I could. One, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to survive financially. The first 2 months of the pandemic wiped out a bunch of contracts I had, so I was broke.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I started getting offered classes, and I was like, "Oh, hell yeah! I'll take this. I'll take that. I'll take this. I'll take that." So a lot of curriculum building, a lot of getting to learn how to use Zoom. Some beach time. I gave up the alcohol. That was one thing that knocked me out. I'm a social drinker. You can't go to the bar and talk shit with your friends. It's like, man, it ain't that really fun to be home drinking whiskey by yourself. It ain't,
Right.
So I gave that up. That cleared my mind. Presented a couple of different plays through my Spanish theater called La Lengua. So I started a fucking theater company during the pandemic.
Okay, so wait a minute. Hold
fun.
on. You started a theater company during the pandemic. La Lengua the theater company you started?
Yeah, it's called La Lengua Theater en Español.
Okay.
Yeah, we do contemporary Spanish theater, or theater in Spanish.
Oh, hell tight. So how are you doing that? Are you going internationally? Is it all Bay Area? Is it Bay Area, LA? Where are you doing that?
That's been the dope part, man. It's like, we've been able to collaborate with actors from different parts of the Caribbean, different parts of Latin America, different parts of the nation. When you do Zoom shit, you can have people from all over plugging in.
Right.
That's been beneficial. So, it's not my favorite, bro. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Zoom theater, but I needed to stay creative. So what I meant by that was I had to stay creative during the pandemic, so I got involved in the theater company, man. La Lengua Teatro en Español. Check it out.
That's real. I mean, that's when folks, to me, it is one of the ways that we tap into the divine feminine, when we recognize that idea, right, of necessity being the mother of invention. The idea that you would be able to create a theater company during this time, right, is as goofy as the idea that we would be having a conversation about the theater company that you created on the show that happened while I was, you know what I mean?
I have to give credit to Virginia Blanco, who is my partner in creating this baby.
Shout out.
She approached me about it. And she's a newer theater artist to the Bay, and I was able to plug in some connections. We got we got a residency with Brava Theater.
Excellent.
We were able to leverage some support, and they were like, "Yeah, let's go for it. Let's see what we can do during this pandemic. Let's see if it brings new audiences. So it has, man. It's been, I mean, it's not gigantic, but it's something. We're what, a year and a half old. So see how
Look,
long it lasts.
as I've told our now 100 of listeners that since we are now having doing this like 200 shows in, that's up from 10 of listeners, which is well up from viewer. So it does what it does. It does what it does. And right now, in the time that we're in, I think that it's a combination of, right, both the creative outlets and the ability for people to participate in that expression and find community even when they're sitting around in their loft or the living room or wherever else.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. You just told me 200 shows. 200 shows. Congratulations, 200 shows.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a
Yeah.
commitment. That is a commitment right there, man. That is a commitment.
It has
And I can
been.
tell by your mic. I can tell by your mic. I can tell by your mic you've had 200 shows.
Right? Yeah. It
You got the
looks
real
it looks
mic.
way professional for all of the nonsense and fuckery that takes place in trying to make it look such and sound a little bit like that. Yeah. So we talked about I talked about introducing you, right? All the different ways in which I've known you as a creator over the now decades that I've had the honor of knowing you as a creator. One of the things I've been talking about with folks is when they first recognize themselves, not just well, just when did you recognize yourself as a creator, just at all? As an artist, as a creator, was there ever a time that you didn't know yourself as such? Did you formally recognize yourself as such at some point?
I grew up, I started breaking and popping when I was 10 and 11 years old. And when you had to make up your routines to battle people, you don't really think of yourself as an artist. You feel me? You
Right.
don't think, oh, I am an artist, like, painting a picture and shit. You're like, I'm trying to
Yeah.
battle this fool. Let me put together some tight shit. And I'm 11, 12, on my cardboard, in Southern California, in the neighborhood with a bunch of other Filipino and Latin, Mexican and black folks and white boy Glenn who could do the flare.
What neighborhood was this? What neighborhood were you in?
This is in Chula Vista in San Diego, in
Okay.
the very southern part of San Diego.
Okay.
So like that was when I realized I had to be creative, in a sense of I needed to be a little unpredictable with what I'm gonna do when it's my turn to go on. And so that's probably the first time I realized I had to depend on my creativity to a certain extent, if I wanted to be respected, in the cipher. And that's one of the first times I remember having to do that. The pressure was on, right?
Yeah.
Pressure's on. First couple of battles I lose, whatever, you win. And so I remember that's like the first art form I had to like really study. And I mean by studies, by watching the older folks, right? Watching the older people do it, to go home, practice, come back, that type of stuff. And then create your own, version of self-representation through, popping or, breaking, whatever.
Right.
To say, this is me in this cipher. Then that translated to writing. I think I went from taking, hip hop as my first art form, then move into writing and sharing that with people. Then I was in a band when I was 14, hardcore punk rock band. Went from breaking and popping to screaming in a microphone. Those are my those formative years, man. Like in between those 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's when I knew I was going to be creative for the rest of my life. That's honest.
Do you think that there is a clear, I don't know, what I don't think there is a clear understanding or not or whatever. I don't even know what that means anymore. What is your understanding of what the relationship was for you, right? Between what was it? What was it exactly? You were in like punk. You were in rockero. Like what was the shit you were doing? Like what were you doing?
Hey, man. So in Southern California, people are skateboarding and surfing all the time, and so
Right.
um, the skateboard scene was correct connected directly to the punk rock scene. I mean, it was like literally, And I remember that there was a crazy punk rock skate scene in Denver too.
Yeah.
But like that's what happened once I got into junior high. Breaking and popping as much, but folks were going really crazy on skateboards, and so I made the transition little by little to hanging out with the skateboarders, and I liked skateboarding, and then the skateboarding led me to the punk rock, and then my friends were making bands. They couldn't play shit on their guitars or anything, but they were like, "Try this," and that's what we did until we figured something like a song.
Right.
Um, and I think that was kind of the way that's why I told you in the beginning, I like being with the folk, with the people.
Yeah.
I'm a better team member than I am a solo artist. And I've realized that about myself as I've gotten older, that my strength is in being kind of like a convener
Mm.
of projects. I can be at the center, or I don't have to be at the center.
Mm.
I can perform, or I can write, or I can just produce.
Okay.
Um, but the idea of being with people to inspire creativity, I can see it as I moved from being in a hip hop crew as a kid to being in a band, and moving into spoken word, all the while, dude, I was also playing sports, I was living in an apartment with my mother. She was raising me, and that was like a part of a lot of alone time. I'm an only child, my brother, so
Hmm.
I was out, I was doing a lot of shit with my imagination to just get through being by myself at the house a lot. One of them latchkey kids came home and nobody was home for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? It'd be like that. So what am I gonna do? Make shit up, or write something, or take my skateboard out, or go find the kids in the neighborhood, whatever. Um,
Right.
so yeah, that's like the necessity part, like you were talking about.
Yeah. And going to fuck around and get
Exactly.
into it. How did you formalize your writing, your skill set, right? Because you're talking about, I'm guessing, lyrics, right? So even in terms of, did you already have by ear, well, okay, let me do 12 bars, or whatever, or was it just, nah, I'm just, spitting nonstop until somebody says, all right, stop, Paul. Okay, somebody else's turn. Like, what was it?
Definitely got the rhyming part from listening to rap, and copying the lyrics down. That's when you were coming
Mm-hmm.
up and rap came on the AM radio. I think like in '79 or some shit. Rappers Delight came out, and I got my tape recorder out, and I tried to catch it every day. Boom, try to record that, and then once I
Right.
had it recorded, then I copied the lyrics down. Then I memorized the lyrics, and I did that with like a bunch of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five songs. Then moved over to Run DMC, um, and so when I got the idea of like this is how you rhyme, I thought it was like a mystery, like how they made things make sense and rhyme at the same time. That
Mm.
should have me captivated. I was like, I
Mm.
got to figure this out. How do I do this? Right? What's a song? I didn't really know what a song was. I just wanted to rhyme, and I wanted to say something, about whether it was my life or what I saw or something that was engaging, interesting. It was before I knew anything about bars or dropping punchlines or anything like that. It was just like, how do I rhyme and say something? Then I got into story writing too, figuring out how to tell a story. That took a little bit longer, but I think hip hop had just a tremendous influence. And then when the thing I liked about punk was the fuck you about it. It was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do what you say. I ain't
Nah.
no. I'm not into this authority bullshit. I'm gonna do what I want, and that's
It is
pretty
so
much.
crazy is that those dudes became such fucking authoritarian fascists, isn't it?
Later, yeah, it was. I didn't understand that either. But when you're
Like
14, you kind of liked it.
what the I mean, well, even the ones I mean, I guess you could see not even really in the lyrics, right? There were no Thatcher leanings in anything that like Johnny Rotten or Morrissey was doing then that would have lent to believing the kind of assholes that they turned into.
Yeah, I think a little bit of cult of personality gets to people's heads and shit. They
Yeah.
start getting looked at like what they say is, like God's words instead of the devil's, which it really was. It was really the devil's words
Dude.
in the beginning. That's the whole thing. I don't know how that happened either. I can't even listen to the Smiths no more.
It
It's hard for
hurts.
me. It's hard. That
It
sucks.
hurts. And the
That
shit that's
sucks.
like so adjacent to that, right? I look at a lot of the cats that I was coming up with during that same period. And I can feel on one end like, oh, but they're authentic and they're still doing it and da 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 da, right? And cool, but like then you look at the cost for Angelo to still be doing what he's doing with Fishbone, and it's like god damn, I don't know, maybe it. How old is selling out? Okay, because this stop it. This is there a retirement plan? Shit, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm always trying to do something different. I'm always trying to move into something new. That is, I used to talk with Bamuti about this. I'd be like, um, it's about what's next.
Mm,
You keep moving forward, moving towards the next thing. You don't get stale. You don't repeat. You don't, constantly beat a dead horse. You feel me? You move to the next thing, even if it's a compromise in the possible failure of things. I've failed. I put out shit that didn't pop, that fell. But I learned about it, and it always was a great adventure. So I don't really depend on things that were really great 5 years ago. I
yeah,
don't. I'm already on the next three projects. I'm not trying to fuck with that old stuff.
yeah.
And I understand that there are people who make money that way by repeating the same shit, but I'm not into that. I like reinvention. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to challenge myself.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I
fun.
mean, and
That's
that's one
fun.
of the ways if you're changing your cycle, right? If you're churning your waters, then there's some, I think, possibility, right, that you find multiple channels to express a voice. Where if you're waiting for society to turn its waters and come back around to you again, it will, and you can find yourself on the old people tour of any of the numbers of things that we had been involved with, right? Like we there is the Def Poetry Old People Tour. Like I mean, it's possible. There's money to be
Exactly.
made. There's money.
Yes. My brother Lemon is trying to get them to do it on again. I'm like, I'm cool. I don't need to go back on Death Poetry, bruh. I did that shit. It was cool. That was fun. We had a community.
Right.
We're all old now.
We are not young people. We are not young people. I don't know. I've not heard young people talking about how spoken word and snapping fingers is their hot shit. That's not. I've not
Yeah.
heard. I don't know because again, I'm not around young people that much. It's just not. I don't know what they're doing. Don't know what they're
I'm around
doing.
a lot of young people, and there are some spoken word um, teenagers, but it isn't. There's the internet now,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
that's the thing. What that people write, of course. You got the button poets, and you got the internet poets that are out there. But getting together in the live venue or out in front of the venue and spitting stuff you make up and
Yeah.
ciphering up, and that whole combination isn't as a I don't know, as a powerful pursuit for a lot of young folks as much. Um, but every one of these folks can, I mean, not everyone, but a lot of them know how to use GarageBand, and
Mm,
they can make shit on their phone that I can't understand how they do it.
right.
My son, we went. My son is 15, and we went to Tahoe. That's not far from where I'm at, and we were just walking on the lake, and he just starts recording the lap of the waves he's just recording with his phone, and then he sits down, adds a beat,
Mm,
and then you hear the and he's this is just a walk on the beach. He turns it into a song, and that's his vibe through the phone. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The phone is the vibe. That's the shit. That's what people are doing. I don't bust a video, but my 11-year-old daughter has her own YouTube channel. She edits her
Wow.
shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're doing. You feel me?
See. Yeah, you got to be up on your game. You got to be doing what you're doing to create something new for you.
Yeah.
Cause you can't out kitten kittens. Can't do that. That is right. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Good luck. Good luck. Ridiculous. No way. There's no chance. I can't talk. I'm not good for it. I'm not good for it. I'm not good for the
Yeah.
talk. It's
Bro,
not my
that was
thing.
hilarious what we just did right now with the cats. Funny. Okay, explain the cup, the Fucks cup. What is that?
Oh,
You bring
no,
people
yeah, yeah, no.
fucks?
I'm just no. I ran out of fucks quite some time ago. I don't have a fuck to give, and so because old, and so I know that as I have aged, that when I say I don't give a fuck, I mean that very differently than does a 20-year-old who gives as many fucks as they could possibly give to tell you that they don't give a fuck. And
And that's what that is.
that's it. I just like the word fuck. And if I can try to replenish my own fucks and get some fucks back by sipping them down, then I'll do it. I'll do whatever I can do. Do whatever I can do to try and give a fuck again.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, that's a big statement. That's a big statement.
You know, I mean, I care very much and very deeply. I'm very empathetic. I'm very committed. I don't give a fuck. I can't. I don't have time to be embarrassed or to wait for like, oh, should we think about if we're gonna do that? No, just fucking start. Let's go. Let's
Hey, I
go.
like that.
Let's
Yes.
go. I don't have time.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Either do it or don't. Shut up. You know, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
I always like that about you, Carlos. You are a doer. You always bring some new idea or new collaborator into Collective Soul. We would be like planning the next show, and then okay, here's who we got lined up for the next show. You'd be like, we're gonna do this, and this. And then Blue Magazine's gonna come in too. Oh, okay, all right. And then and now we're gonna sell shirts, and now we're gonna put I don't know, 12-piece band. Now we're gonna bring this cat from Denver. We're bringing people from Al. I was like, holy shit! It just kept going. And you just do it, and I was really happy with that. I like that because I actually learned a lot from that.
That was huge. That was huge. What we built was huge. That period of time, is absolutely what led to my becoming artist in residence at La Peña Cultural Center. That wouldn't have happened. Is absolutely. I know that when Omar Sosa's manager Scott had reached out to La Peña, that it was Sylvia who was like, "Yo, you got to check out Carlos. Like that's if you're looking for an MC." And so then
Yes.
I end up
Ooh, good
traveling,
call on that one.
right? And then I end up
That's a good
traveling the
one.
globe for like 2.5 years to then come back and work and serve as artist in residence at La Peña. All of that was born of Collective Soul. And then I think about again, and and it's weird, right? Because being being an artist who has appreciated what it is that we've done underground and independently, it feels fucked up on you. It feels fucked up to name drop, right? And at the same time, like the reality is that there are nationally recognized artists who came up under a lot of the shit that we were doing, who were in the audience a lot of the shit that we did, and would then go, oh, okay, well, let's figure out how we could do this better, and have figured out a lot of ways to do it better. And I mean, and shout out to those folks, right? Like if there's like a nationally recognized like theatrical, dramatic, fucking rap artist that you've heard of or know of, who is from Berkeley or from the Bay Area and was a teenager in the 90s, there's a chance that Paul created a platform that allowed for that kind of collaboration that you're talking about, right? And for the kind of pushing it that I hoped to do that you're talking about, to create the community, to foster that, right? To germinate that seed. And again, the genius is theirs. The discipline is theirs. I take nothing from them. I'm not trying to say that even the folks that worked in our programs are their outcome is the result of what they did with us. It's the result of them. But that we had the opportunity to be in that kind of community to show them how a little bit. Hopefully.
Raphael Casal, David Diggs, Shanaka Hodge. We have
There's some folks.
Wapale.
Wapale was in the crew.
So many.
Yeah.
Honestly, Medusa was up in there.
Yeah. Dom Jones out here doing big shit right now. Big things. Big things. Yes. Jones Empire doing big things.
That's right.
I mean, it was a whole vibe, right? And even that idea that you brought, right, from the beginning, from the very first time that we had done it, of calling it Collective Soul, of bringing hip hop, of bringing what now, for want of any better genre bending title, I think young people, no, not young people, middle-aged and such people would recognize on their Spotifys if you chose the pollen variety of music, that kind of vibe of nice. There's a whole category of soul hip hop crossbred vibes that combined with straight spoken word. I mean, that idea of formatting that together was your idea. You and Bamuti did that. That was that. I think
I was just thinking of Bamu right now. I was thinking of him jumping off the stage and going into the crowd and busting his poems at the beginning of the show all the time.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Getting off the mic and just getting into that hell of people. He was just like pushing. All right, let's do this. Like pushing through the crowd, busting some poem, African descended.
And that it's wild because we had a crew of people who I think were raised having done that out of necessity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think part of why the things like what you're talking about, your son is doing, the reinvention that you're talking about doing, began to happen was once that same thing began to be cribbed, frankly, right? Like there was a long time that you couldn't go to a spoken word event of any level without the artist after Bamu had done it for quite some time, walking up on stage and doing,
Exactly.
I will tell you now what the, and it's like, okay, look, there's a reason. There's a reason.
That was pretty good.
Listen, it's almost like we grew up together. You know what I mean? There's a reason that like nobody knows who the fucking second guy to show up on the 70s show to play the other Kelso was. It was already done. It was good. How many versions of Conan have tried to like show up again on screen after Schwarzenegger? How many have worked? How many people got famous from that shit besides him? He got famous from that. That's the only one who gets to get famous from that. You got to find some new shit now.
Definitely.
To your point, right, of reinvention.
New shit. Got to find the new shit. That's also one of the codes of hip hop is, man, don't be like nobody else. Try to be unique as possible. That's not as easy as it sounds. People bite all the time, but it's also a move. Not being static. Don't stay in the same place.
Yeah.
Don't stay in the move out of that. Even if it's successful, you don't always gotta franchise your shit. Just keep moving. Take the next step. If whatever you can envision, as long as my imagination's live, I'm alive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I mean, and that's that lesson that we learned from Octavia, right? Like, you've got to keep changing. God is change. Change is the only constant. You have to change. You can't stay the same. Oh, you got a box. What'd you get?
So, first of all, you should know this is from DJ Sake One.
Oh shit.
I hope I didn't just push his address all over.
Nobody freeze frame that shit. Nobody freeze frame. I think it was cut off screen. I think it was off screen.
All right, so here is Brother Los and Rashidi Omari.
Oh, holy shit.
Circa 2001 or 2. Look at that. That is the Collective Soul logo that we used. This shirt is hella old. He said he had to like bleach it to get it white again. But this is original swag from Collective Soul. La Peña. Right, Brother Los.
Damn,
you have the Blue Magazine logo. Blam.
That's right. That was designed by Theo did that.
Theo
did that.
Rodriguez.
Yeah. So and Blue Magazine was a partnership on that. That's crazy.
Just seeing it brought back some crazy old memories. And, I remember loving to pack that show with a bunch of kids. They were like Berkeley High students, plus like some North Oakland foes who would come through. Deja and his crew, they would come through. It would get a little bit wild in there.
At times. There were nights. Overall, it was incredible though, right? Because I still remember you brought Doble Filo on there, right? Dos Equis you brought up on there when we did the Cuba Libre series. What did we call it? Sofrito Cuba Libre something.
Something like that. I can't remember exactly. And it was Sofrito for Your Soul.
Right. No. Right. Sofrito was Rico's restaurant, and I had called the night Sofrito, and then
it was Omaya was on that show.
Omaya was also on that show, and fuck it, I'll bust it out. Then some motherfuckers tried to start some beef between me and my fellow folks, Rico, talking about I had stole the name. Yeah. I ain't forgot you, motherfucker. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Me and Rico was on the
Did Rico
phone.
hit you up? Did
Oh
Rico
yeah,
hit you
now of
up?
course he hit me up. Of course he hit me up. I was like, "The fuck are you talking about, man? Get out of here!" And then we talked about who did it, and he was like, "Yo, let me tell you a story about that motherfucker. I'm not gonna put their name out right now. I don't want to, but like, let me tell you a story about them. I almost left them in a fucking bush in Puerto Rico. I was like, all right, well, see, now you know. Now you know. Uh,
That's ugly.
you
Yeah.
know, but it got like that. I do remember too that I still at that point, and then I got to hear more about the projects that you're working on now. I don't want to be dwelling in the past like this. Uh, that the one person, and it got to a thing, right? Like a lot of people started like kind of like coming around asking about it and seeing who it was and who was there and whatever. But the one time ever that I got gassed out about what the fuck was happening was when I was stopped by Dolores Huerta, and I had known Ricky, but I never met Dolores like that, and she was like, "Yo, listen, not for nothing, and
She was like, "I love
y'all,
you. I love you,
I love
Los."
what y'all are doing. You might be one of my favorite hip hop groups I've seen." I was just like,
Yes.
"Yo,
Company of
yo."
Prophets. And
That
then
shit was tight.
Ricky had his group too. What was it called? La Paz? Was it called
La
La Paz?
Paz, La Paz. Yep, because we played with
Yeah.
them. In fact, Ricky DJ with us a couple times too. Yeah, Ricky
Man, you
DJ with
just took me
us,
back right there. Woo, that's a good memory. La Paz. I remember that group.
right?
They came through.
And
They came
I mean, it
through.
was up and down the West Coast, man. There was like blue scholars all the way up Pacific Northwest. What we were
The Blue
doing,
Scholars.
along with the Coup, along with Zion, some other folks in the Bay, and then you look at what was happening down, and honestly, what Kamiko was doing, what Guapala was doing, what a bunch of the sisters were doing.
Kamiko Joy. Yes.
Jesus Christ! I mean, you can't get around Underground Railroad if it weren't for them. Like, fuck it, it's a wash. The shit wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean?
Hanifa
So
Walida.
give it up, give it up,
Hanifa.
give it up. Listen, so what are you up to now? What are you creating now? What are the things we should know
I used
about?
to love the way she used her deep voice when she would
Oh
rap.
my God, Anif, and
Hanifa, she would.
the one
Oh
person play
man.
was incredible. The one person play was incredible. What you busting? What you busting right now? What is it these days?
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you just asking or even inviting me to be on the show. Um, I think one of the most important issues right now for Latinos is this family incarceration and detainment of families and separation, and then reuniting those families to we endured some really harsh shit during Trump. Not that it didn't start before with Biden and Obama. We've been going through some harsh shit, but seeing those images constantly displayed on the internet, seeing our families locked up in cages, little kids, 2-year-olds
Mm.
in prison with their parents, sometimes babies taken from those parents and them being deported. And now those kids are in the system, the foster system of the United States. Um, to me, that is one of the most devastating things this country can do. Uh, is ruin generations, for those families. And I was looking for the opportunity to really put that shit on blast, Los. I was like, I got to figure out how we bring more attention. So I started working with this artist in Philly. Her name is Michelle Angela Ortiz, and she did a documentary called Familias Separadas, and basically she documented the stories of these 6 mothers who were living in a prison, in an immigrant prison with their toddlers, right? And they were in there for 2-3 years, Los. Some of these
Jesus.
kids, their first memories are in a prison cell, okay? And these are 4-year-old boys and girls, who's sometimes the first male figure they can remember are fucking ICE agents, okay? let that be your first fucking memory. ICE, right? So I got to work with Michelle to organize a bunch of former detainees inside, who are still seeking their asylums, but who had served time in these immigrant detention centers and family prisons for multiple years. She started organizing folks who had either gotten released or had won their asylum case, who had gone multiple years inside an immigrant prison with their children. And they're from all over the country. So she was like, look, Paul, I want to work with you to help tell these stories. We're going to create this project where we expose the stories of all these women and children who were either separated, reunited, or arrested and detained for years inside the prison. That was one of the big issues, bros. They were supposed to be let go after 60 days. They were supposed to be either deported or find placement, but people were being kept inside for 2 years. So since I started working with Michelle, I've interviewed about 15 different immigrant mothers and fathers who were in prison with their children. Little kids. A lot of them, went in at 1 or 2 years old. I've also been able to connect with some of the sanctuary movement in Colorado, which is really big. In Colorado, you've got women living in churches now, moving on 3 or 4 years to avoid deportation. One of the women I interviewed, whose asylum case is still pending, so I can't tell her name, she had 2 children inside a church. Like, she actually birthed children while she was in sanctuary. Yeah, you can have people in, and you could try to get yourself out, but I'm thinking, so you were in sanctuary and you had a baby? You got pregnant while in sanctuary? How did that happen? It was wild, man. Like, she's been locked up. She's been in there. She's been avoiding the feds for 4 years inside the church in Colorado.
How the fuck you a Christian in Colorado if this happened and you ain't got her back? Fuck out of here. Fuck, I don't want, and I'm saying this as somebody who's from there, okay? I'm saying this as somebody who actually is a native, who has every right to say the word, and yet will call myself a local because as a native. Fuck you, white people. You don't get to call yourself natives to Colorado. I am saying, as one of those folk, if you're a Christian in Colorado and you ain't down for these people, and I'm sure you would have heard their story some kind of backwards way, and I ain't looking for it either, putting their story out either. Tracy, don't look up their name. Don't look them up. Don't look them up. Okay? But if you from there and you ain't down for them, fuck you. Fuck you, you fucking hypocrite. Okay, you were saying. Sorry. That shit fucked me up. I am so sorry. You can't be on my home turf doing shit like that. And I'm cool. So you were saying, I apologize.
It is there. There's an active sanctuary movement in Colorado that is quite powerful. And if people just want to look at it, look up the sanctuary movement, Movimiento Santuario in Colorado, and you see the leadership of it right there. That just happens to be, where it is, where some of the longest cases are. Anyway, that's been one of my projects is developing this. That's going to be basically culminating in large public performances at different, in front of different capitol buildings in different states that have detention centers.
Oh, yes.
So that's some immigrant detention centers. So those states that currently have those large, like Texas or Pennsylvania, Berks in Pennsylvania, the one in Florida, North Carolina. There's all these immigration secret, jails that folks don't really know about. But we're working on doing public performances there, featuring those stories to bring some attention.
All right.
That's one of my biggest things right now.
That's an important one. That's real. Yeah. Keep going. What were you saying?
Just that's the number one issue for me, as a Latino, is reuniting families, treating families humanely. I don't give a shit how they got here. How they crossed the border. Putting them in prison has got to be like horrible. I mean, there's just no forgiving it, bro. And The
Yeah.
fact that we are, just like you just said right now, how outraged you feel. It's a big deal for me. And so pretty much all the work I've been doing over the last 10 years has been immigrant rights based,
Hmm.
working on transnational projects, working in El Salvador, in Cuba, in Mexico, working with artists over there, communities over here, connecting the two. A
Yeah.
lot of the same stuff that I do. I mean, I I am based and I live in California. I love California, but I'm not loyal to the state. I go work wherever the people are.
Mm.
I that's a big deal for me since as a Latino, as a Mexican, as a Cuban, um, I have immigrant family members coming all the time. I can never separate myself from my people who live in other countries. Uh, I don't see, that's not my thing. Like, I'm more about making bridges. I'm
Yeah.
more about bringing, like you said, the doble filo Cuban rappers to perform, paying Cuban folks to develop their work. I'm working with a guy right now in Cuba who's he's trying to just lift up his online magazine, um, and his name is El Brujo Elier Alvarez, and he's all into hip hop cubano, and he's a journalist. He likes to write about what the scene is, how is hip hop changing in Cuba, who's representing now. He's doing this interview with this guy named Michel Mirabal, who's one of the who's signed to Rock Nation. Peep that. A
Mm.
Cuban painter who's signed to Rock Nation. He's interviewing this cat and wants to talk to him and get that story. Like, what is Jay-Z doing with Cuban painters, right? I want to know too.
Right.
I want to know who this cat is. I want to see what's happening with that. So he's into that type of stuff. So I support that, right? I send him money for printing. We collaborate. I promote his stuff, or I'll produce it. And when I go to Cuba, Elier sets me up with, bro, I'm deep connected in Cuba.
Nice.
And it's that type of thing, I'm performing almost anywhere in Cuba with a lot of different types of artists. I spent a lot of time the last 6 years back and forth between Cuba, developing a project there and working on developing spoken word on the island. Now they have a slam that happens in Havana. They have a slam team. Wow. It was weird. Now this was organized throughout it's like an international, like Pan-African type of slam online joint. But it's, I've been down there developing that stuff since 01, 02.
Damn.
So I've been working in Cuba and Havana to develop that voice, but also to just make sure that everybody who is down with that international collaboration is getting the proper respect that they deserve in my own humble, resourced way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Excellent.
That's what's up.
That's real. That's real. So where can the people find you? Yeah. Is there a place people can find you, trace you, kind of keep up with all of these projects? Is there one collective place or someplace? Go ahead.
Definitely, yeah. All of my new work is uploaded onto paulsflores.art. My newest project you'll check on there is called Somos Esenciales, and that is the story of the Mission Food Hub, how Latinos in the mission organized free food for 9,000 families. And you're going to hear testimony from some of those folks who benefit from it, as well as the people who organize that, to get, testing connected to Latinos or vaccinations, people doing the work in the community. And they're doing it, free. The city didn't do shit, so our community did it ourselves. So check out that. That's at paulsflores.art. We're really active in the Mission District of San Francisco, where I'm at, where I've been working for a long, long time. I know we give a lot of respect to Berkeley, but I'm a Frisco Mission District artist, and I have been like that since I got there in '95. So I always give a shout out to the Mission San Francisco, San Pancho, Pura Misión, La 24. All right.
Boo, boo, boo. That's real talk. That's real talk right there. That's real talk right there. Paul, yo, it has been far too long. I am so thrilled, not just to be able to catch up, but to hear about all of the shit that you're doing. It's delicious, and I'm thrilled. The community is, lucky to have you doing the work that you're doing. And hope that you will consider, as these things start getting off the ground, coming back and talking about it more. Hopefully we can help spread the word a little bit.
Yeah, man, I would be down, especially show a little clip or something next time.
Oh, that would be great.
Thank you so much. Thank
Absolutely.
you much, Smoke and Mirrors. Keep it up, bro. I was really happy to see you. You look great. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Stay not giving a fuck. And, I'm always behind your back, bro. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Hey, y'all, give it up for the one and only Paul Flores, please. Let's hear it. Huh? Come on. Friends and conversations and good shit and the work and change and change is God and God is change, and all that you touch you change, and all that you change changes you, and you still, if you're lucky, there might be a constant thread throughout. Let's have one more as we go out. Josh, well, you know what? I saw the little flashes that were happening, the camera work that was, I'm not even yelling about it. I don't even care. We all make mistakes. Do something good with your new moon energy, and find a way to forgive yourself a mistake from the past, like the way I've been flicking this lighter and not putting it to the bong. All right, let's do this and get out of here. So delicious. My deep thanks to Paul Flores and to all of you. And we will be back on Thursday, and that has been a show. Thank you for being here for another Smoke and Mirrors. That was a lot of fun. Do you like what we do here? Well, if you'd like to see the Instagram version of it, which is just pictures of us talking and not moving, you can do that at Smoke and Mirrors CCB. IG at Smoke and Mirrors CCB. Please feel free to follow the words that are said by me in my brain and never make it out of my mouth on Twitter at Caballo Negrito. Twitter at Caballo Negrito. For the monolingual amongst us, that translates to white people in Colorado, stop calling yourselves natives. You are not. Caballo Negrito. White people in Colorado, stop calling yourselves natives. You are not. Do you have a thought, a question, a comment, or a suggestion for a guest that you would like to see here on Smoke and Mirrors? Well, you know what I'd like you to do? I'd like you to go ahead and shoot it to us. That would be great. The best way to do it would not be in the chats of the Twitter or the Instagram, but rather live and direct at the Gmail. That is smokeandmirrorsccb@gmail.com. That is the best way to get us a comment, a question, or a suggestion for a future guest. Again, that is smokeandmirrorsccb@gmail.com. The CCB is Comedy Culture Blackness. This is produced and hosted by myself, Carlos Kareem Wyndham. This is also produced by the one and only Tracy Tatamy. Yes, I did say produced it. Guess that's about it for now. So please take care of yourself. Take care of each other. If you go outside, wear a mask. I don't care what the CDC says. do get that vaccine. And when you come back inside, squeeze the people that you love the best because they matter too. Hey, we look forward to seeing you back here again on Thursday. Got some special stuff coming up for Accidental Racist. And we'll see you then. All right. It's been an hour. All right. That's it. Good job. Good job, everybody. Good job, Trace. Good job. Good job, Joshua. That was the show. That was good. Right on. Okay, let's get out of here. Bye. Bye.